Good night. Thanks, everybody. I won't keep you too long because I know you've had a really long, very intense 2 days. And I don't know about you, but certainly my head is spinning, and the many thoughts and ideas. I was talking to Shirley outside, and I think it's just so much rich dialogue and so many conversations we've had. It will take us a few days again to try and take it all in and digest it, but it has been a really fruitful and a very productive couple of days. And again, it's just been fantastic to meet you all in person. I've met quite an amount of you on Zoom over the last couple of years, and it's just brilliant to have us all here in one room, all with a shared objective around nature and biodiversity. Taz has summed up very well the outputs of the breakout sessions, and I think we had a task here, a job here. It wasn't just a conference. This is going to feed into our next National Biodiversity Action Plan, so we had a job to do here as well, and you've done it very well, very ably, and hugely interesting, hugely stimulating, and challenging, and at times entertaining as well. So I think there's been, we've had it all over the last couple of days. And the coffee and the lunch breaks, I think, were important too, and very often where the real work is done. I know my own team are going to be tearing their hair out at the amount of promises I've made to visit places and projects. So, but I'll try and get to some of you over the next couple of months. But there was also a great networking of ideas and a sharing of knowledge and all the successes and failures of different projects down the years as well. Ferdy and Marnell was telling me about the success of the Natterjack Toad project that we've partnered with Photo Wildlife Park, and the success for the first time of having that breeding programme there. And then we had poor results in the Maharees because of a really dry season. So it's very much swings and roundabouts in this game, and it really does feel like that at times, that it's slow incremental change, and from what I'm hearing, that change can't happen fast enough. But unfortunately, these things in nature, they do take time, and there'll always be setbacks. There'll always be setbacks. And again, I'm sure you'll agree that both the presence of and the contribution by An Taoiseach will stay with us for a long time. And it does give me great hope that a world leader addresses a conference on biodiversity and speaks with passion and such conviction. And it spoke volumes to me too that he stayed around to meet with delegates, take photographs and have a conversation with people, knowing that he had such a busy day ahead of him. I met Minister O'Brien outside later on, and Taoiseach spoke very highly of the conference at the cabinet meeting afterwards. I think that's really important, and I think we should all take great solace from that the Taoiseach was not just here but present, and I think that's something I will be mindful of for a very long time to come. And I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of people over the last number of days, and I felt it really important to stay for the 2 days. I think thankfully there was no Dáil sitting. I didn't have to rush back for votes or anything like that. But I do think it's important for me to be here and to listen to those conversations and to be part of the proceedings as well. It's after giving me a really fantastic grounding for my own work and the work we all have ahead of us. I just realised these are printed double-sided. I got that. Okay. I think the whole issue around resourcing and programme issues that we've had and we've announced over the last couple of days around turning this crisis around have been really important. But I'm under no illusion as to the task ahead. It's hugely challenging, and it will require all of our collective and our collaborative efforts, all of our hard work, our creativity to make a deep and meaningful impact for nature and biodiversity. We were here discussing NBAP, and that's where the real actions will get taken to respond to the biodiversity emergency at an all-of-government level. But in the meantime, just want to make a few commitments to some strategically important projects and initiatives. I'm committing an additional €17 million to support breeding waders and their habitats in the wider countryside. The detail is still to be worked out, and we want to do some meaningful consultation in relation to this with our key partners. But it is our intention to invest the money in our own farm plan scheme, as well as additional measures like predator control to support the conservation and protection of breeding waders across Ireland. We will design the programme in such a way. Thank you. Thank you, Una. We will design the programme in such a way as to support the implementation and complement the Breeding Weather EIP as part of the CAP strategic plan, which we co-fund with DAFM. And we've heard strong calls for the breeding weather protection from the wider community. And we want to work with you to do this, to support the curlew, the lapwing, golden plover across the country. So I know that's going to be welcomed. I'm also committing 1.5 million in 3 sets of €100,000 per year for the next 5 years to support some really exceptionally valuable initiatives that work with our teams across critical areas of research, engagement and policy. The first is the Farming for Nature project, and this is an enormously impactful and valuable initiative that I'm delighted to be able to increase funding and support its development and outreach in engaging with farmers, enabling knowledge sharing and delivering peer learning on how to support biodiversity conservation in agricultural landscapes. We know that farmers are at the heart of the solution to biodiversity emergency, and this investment will support the development of these approaches among the wider agricultural community. The second is the National Biodiversity Forum. The Forum has proved invaluable in monitoring policy implementation, but there is value in expanding its role to do more in the science policy space to support effective evidence-based action as well as stakeholder consultation work across the wider sector. We'd like to enable the Forum to be a real forum to help facilitate the conversations, the really important conversations that we need to have. The third is the All-Ireland Climate and Biodiversity Research Network, and this network has the potential to design and synergise research that supports the kind of integrated climate and biodiversity policy measures that we need to see deliver real change. Increasing funding for the Secretariat will help enable the programme extension across Northern Ireland and help to build connections across Europe. And again, this is something we're taking from the dialogue around the shared dialogue as well, so I think it's very important. Further to this, we commit €300,000 over the next 3 years to support monitoring stream of the Biodiversa, which is the European Biodiversity Partnership, supporting an excellent research on biodiversity with an impact for society and policy. These are small steps in the grand scheme of things, but alongside the progress report I shared in my speech yesterday morning and our biodiversity officer's commitment and €500,000 for the Community Foundation for Ireland's Environment and Nature Fund, which also was announced yesterday, I do hope they give a sense of the direction of travel and our political commitment to this cause. And just specifically in relation to the biodiversity officer's commitment, there was a bit of confusion that this was going to be a pilot, but that pilot part is around really the roles, the grades and the structures. And I'm really happy to say that all 31 local authorities will have a biodiversity officer in the next 3 years. Okay, so the final task of the day, and the thank yous, this could take a while actually, so bear with me. As you can imagine, a significant amount of time and energy went into the preparations for this conference, and I'd like to take just a few moments to recognise all those efforts. So firstly, I'd like to extend thanks to the OPW for the use of the hall, as they say, of this fantastic venue, and particularly the event staff here at Dublin Castle, led by Christian Feehan and Dee Rogers, for your enthusiastic support for the organisation of this event. I'm sure you'll agree it has been a fantastic venue and really great organisation for that. To the team at Brambles Catering for the wonderful food and refreshments over the last few days, and again to the staff who served us, they've just been fantastic. I know I'll be filling my pockets going home as well, but it was really, really lovely. Thanks to Matthew Jebb and the National Botanic Gardens for arranging us to use and enjoy the wonderful winning images from the Eye on Nature photo competition in front of the printworks here. You've seen them as you arrived in. To Christoph Schweitzer and Andrew Mooney and the rest of the staff at Dublin Zoo for arranging the evening tour and entertainment at the zoo last night and looking after everyone so well. I'm sorry I couldn't join you on that. Thank you also to Creative Technologies for taking care of the audiovisual streaming and the recording elements of the conference, and to the team at Countryscape for the conference design and digital elements and the managing of the interactive part of the programme. To John Lawler, who was on photographic duty. You wouldn't see him around, he's very discreet, but he did a great job. I'd like to thank the organisers who are behind each of the parallel sessions and panel discussions. Your dedicated efforts to ensure that your sessions were a space for meaningful exchange of experience and ideas really did pay off. I think it was really wonderfully organised. Thanks to all of the session chairs, the speakers, the rapporteurs, and all of the volunteers who assisted with the running of the conference for the past 2 days. These were NPWS volunteers from our team. I met some of our new Rangers taking the coats out there this morning, and it's just fantastic. It really shows the all hands on deck approach that we have in NPWS, and it really is appreciated. To the Biodiversity Forum, to the chair, Taz Crowe, really fantastic, Taz, for providing us with really valuable perspectives here in the wrap-up. And many people at the NPWS are involved in bringing the many different aspects of the conference together, but particular thanks to Deirdre Lynn, to Claire Cooper, Dermot McGreal, who have been a core part of the coordination team. And thank you. To Niall O'Donoghue for being an excellent, really exemplary host and tireless advocate for nature. Thank you, Niall. And great fun to work with as well. So. To Caroline Enright, to Ronan Casey, Hannah Hamilton. Hannah's always very modest there. Thank you, Hannah. And to Ronan and Caroline for really fantastic work on conference communications, outreach and media liaisons. There's been really great coverage of the conference, which is really fantastic. We had a session here on media yesterday, and biodiversity doesn't always get the coverage that it deserves. But I think it did over the last 2 days. We were that close to trending, but I think Love Island just slightly bet us, and Ireland versus Ukraine. But anyway, it is great to get that coverage, really important to get that. To Hazel Hurley. Hazel did the wonderful illustrations over the past 2 days. They're really brilliant. And for the conference event managers, Natural Capital Ireland, particularly thanks to Conor Ketch, Emer Dool, Fiona Smith, and all who have worked immensely hard for several months to bring every little detail of this event together. I believe Fiona was busy crafting tweets from her sickbed, and get well soon, Fiona. Thank you for all your work. So over the past few days, we've heard really diverse perspectives from over 100 speakers. We've listened to your views. We will collate your really valuable contributions as part of shaping the critically important 4th National Biodiversity Action Plan. And we do hope that the information that we have exchanged over the past 2 days can act as a springboard for a more informed public consultation process. And can I also encourage you and your networks to engage fully on the consultation of the 4th NBAP later this summer. It's really important that we get in as broad. And, I'm conscious too that we're constantly going to the well of NGOs and the public and young people for a lot of these really important consultation processes. So we really do value it. It is really important to us. And I can say it with other processes within our department, we take them on board and we collate them and they become part of our work. So it's hugely valuable to us. So we really do appreciate your really constructive engagement over the last 2 days. And again, just thank you all for making it a huge success. I hope I'll be back here next year, but I hope you'll all be back here next year to share in the 3rd National Biodiversity Conference. And thanks again, everybody. I have a couple of presentations to make, but thank you very much.